Okay,
Here we go.
a graphic content warning. I'll probably do that 3 or 4 times throughout the course of this segment. Let's get to our segment, Unbelievable. We brought you an exclusive story a few weeks ago about the Olympia School District and the fact that parents found out that their 4th and 5th graders at one of the elementary schools had a sex ed lesson. And parents were warned, yeah, they're having a sex ed lesson, here's the curriculum. And then a person from Planned Parenthood came in and went way off script, ends up showing them weird graphic images. These are 4th and 5th graders of penises and vaginas and all of that stuff. So this was a lesson Planned Parenthood gave off script in the Olympia School District. And it really got us thinking about why are they bringing in outsiders to do these lessons? Should they be bringing in outsiders to do these lessons? And if they bring in outsiders, what kind of, are the teachers watching?
Oversight.
What kind of oversight is happening? You don't just bring in some outsider and say, have at it, teach the kids whatever you want to teach them. Well, we have the approved curriculum, but you do you. So anyway, there was a story, and this is out of Canada, but it has to do with Planned Parenthood. And so I think it's just further proof of the fact that Planned Parenthood, if it cannot be properly monitored, if there are no checks, this is an outside entity, so it's not like someone who's a public employee who can be held accountable. They don't belong in school unless there are processes in place to prevent things like this. And again, some of this is really nasty. And the context I'll give you is, this happened in a 9th grade class. So what is a 9th grader? 14? 14, 15?
15, 16.
15, 16? 14, 15?
15.
Okay. I am so grossed out by some of this, and I really struggled with, do I even read this stuff on the air today? But that is just proof that it shouldn't be anywhere near. I don't care if this was taught to seniors. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't even know what some of these things mean. Nor do I ever want to know. And there is no legitimate sex education purpose to what I'm about to show you. So again, a little bit of context. There were a few tweets sent out about this. This one's from an account called Billboard Kruse. He said, Planned Parenthood brought cards like this to a 9th grade class in Saskatchewan for kids to study the sexual alphabet. And then I've also included the statement the school ends up sending out to parents before I get to the flashcards that were in the classroom. The school said on Monday, June 19th, the Health 9 classes had a presentation provided by Planned Parenthood. The target of lesson related to contraceptives, sexually transmitted infections, and consent. During the presentation, the classroom teacher was always in the room. In addition to the presentation, students did have an opportunity to obtain secondary resources from a side table that were not referred to during the presentation. Staff do preview resources, but one of the resources consisted of A to Z sexual vocabulary, which was not in the scope of the grade 9 health curriculum. Sound familiar? Very similar situation in Olympia. Oh, we had curriculum. This was not in the scope of the curriculum. It goes on to say Planned Parenthood did share that a single copy of the resource was taken by a Lumsden High School student. We have contacted Planned Parenthood to have the resource removed from any PVSD school presentation. Staff will continue to do their best to preview material to ensure that it does not meet the outcomes of the school curriculum, to ensure that it does meet the outcomes of the school curriculum. Okay, so I'm going to show you. So basically they're saying Planned Parenthood came in, gave this lesson. They had a side table where kids could go up to it. They could get pamphlets, etc. And they could have also grabbed some of these A to Z sexual health flashcards. The flashcards themselves were created by ACT, which is the AIDS Committee of Toronto. I picked a few of them. I will say the vast majority of the flashcards A to Z are too grotesque and insane for 9th graders. I've picked 4 or 5 to read to you. Again, if you have kids, I don't suggest they listen or watch. So let's get to flashcard for A. A is for autofellatio, which the card describes as the practice of sucking your own D. Be aware you can spread an STI from one area of your body to another through skin-to-skin contact, such as a herpes sore. I mean, besides the point that I don't actually think that that's physically possible, what are you trying to teach them with that? Let's see, what is F for? What does F stand for? F is for felching. Oh my God. I'm going to read this because, look, it makes me uncomfortable, but this was in a room with ninth graders, so I have to read it in order for you to truly understand how sick this stuff is. F is for felching. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I don't want to. The act of sucking semen from your partner's butt. It goes on to read, as if semen didn't taste good enough already. What am I supposed to do with this? I'm going to read it again because I just feel like we need to know.
I don't know.
Nothing says lovin' like semen fresh from the oven. If you're going to chow down on some marinated semen, just know that you and your partner are at a high risk for HIV and STIs. People, this is insane. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. H. H is for half and half. When someone sucks your D and then your A, it's nice to split the attention 50-50. That way, your butt won't get some sort of inferiority complex. If you like eating butt, you might like to consider getting an hepatitis A and B vaccination from your local clinic. What? What is... I almost have to laugh so I don't have an actual mental breakdown. And again, what is the sexual health? You know, they're saying, don't do this obscure thing that you probably never would have heard of otherwise. Otherwise, you'd probably just go to a clinic and get an STI screening. Then why are you even telling them about it? Why are you telling them to do things that I've never even heard of? Felching? A half and half? You're exposing them to things they didn't even know about that they could do, I guess, if they wanted to, as a way to tell them to go to the clinic and get an STI screening? You guys are sick. And then again, the M card. M is for money shot. The cum shot in porn movies when the oiled up cowboy ejaculates. It must be hard to be a porn star. You have to come when you're told with tons of people watching you. Unfortunately, no one ever caught anything from watching porn. Or they say, fortunately, no one ever caught anything from watching porn. Break out the buttery popcorn. Ninth graders, you guys. One more, because it's so absolutely... No, these both have different points of relevance that show how sick this is. N. N is for nooner, which I know what a nooner is. I've heard of a nooner, used in only adult contexts. But listen to how sick the description is. Again, ninth graders. Sex over the lunch hour. Often complicated by busy food courts, cafeteria lunch ladies, and the fact that the sun is directly overhead. But isn't the thought of getting caught behind the salad bar half the fun? These are kids. Are you encouraging them to have sex at school during the lunch hour? This might be the craziest thing we've ever talked about on the show. Planned Parenthood has no place in schools. No place in schools. One more. Nicole, I know you're going to gag over this.
This is the worst.
U stands for Europhilia. Again, I didn't even know about this, and the kids didn't either. Europhiles are people with urine fetishes. They can't get enough of the number one, piss, pee-pee, tailwater, whiz. Foreplay for Europhiles often involves combining salty foods and big gulps. For safety's sake, stick to being peed on, not peed in. It's way safer.
It's a straw necessary.
You guys, this is sick. Can you imagine if you were a parent instantly, my kid's never going back to that school?
Right.
My kids never. And the fact that their reaction as a school district was to say, we've told Planned Parenthood not to include those resources in future demonstrations. So you're going to have them back? No, they don't. That's the straw. They don't get warnings after something like that. That's sick, sick stuff. Again, there are some legitimate reasons for teaching high schoolers about STDs, etc., safe sex, all of those things. If you cannot have outside people do that who are trustworthy, who will stay on script to the approved curriculum, then you have to stop having them in. And I know this is a story out of Canada, but it is not too far off from what happened in the Olympia School District regarding 4th and 5th graders. Again, a representative from Planned Parenthood who comes in, doesn't bother with the approved curriculum, and shows them stuff that no 4th or 5th grader should be shown. Planned Parenthood has proven that it has no place in our public schools when it comes to this stuff. And the only people who can be held accountable are government employees who go off script. If you have a teacher who says, oh, the approved curriculum I'm going to ignore, and I'm going to teach my own curriculum, A to Z sex flashcards, then that's a teacher who can be fired. Can't fire someone from Planned Parenthood.